Welcome back to the Breaker Bros, and tonight we're going to predict the Bengals versus Raiders score in game. But first, we must react to the comments that were left on the previous stream.
I guess the last stream, a few people watched it, a few people watched it a lot more than normally watch, and we got some comments. I haven't really read the comments yet. I thought it'd be funny. Maybe it's not that funny. I thought it'd be interesting and fun to kind of reply to them to begin the, I guess our stream tonight. And then, I don't know, see where it goes. Oh, but if you're watching this, I think you can comment live and we can react live if anything happens. But anyways,
yeah, we can post the message live. But yeah, I mean, the main thing for us is we love to interact with the comments. So
yeah, let's see what we got.
And we appreciate it. Whether it's negative or positive, hey, we appreciate it.
Yeah. So first comment was Go Birds. I guess the Eagles fan. I guess this is pretty easy. Good win. Right? Congrats. There we go. Bang. Okay.
I guess, do you feel better since Sunday?
Better, I mean, about the team or about myself? I feel good. The team, I don't feel better about the team. What did you mean?
Well, I could tell you were pretty frustrated last Sunday, so I wasn't sure.
Okay.
But I guess that's not going to change until you see them perform better, so...
Well, it's not even perform better. It's just it's just like so many decades of watching the current ownership group, things kind of, come back, right?
I guess my whole thing with it is, I get the whole overreacting thing and whatever, and I get where you want your team to do the trades and be super active or whatever, but it's like, you could do all that stuff, but there's no guarantee that you're going to get anything out of it. And in most cases, if you make a trade, especially late into the season or whatever, and it doesn't work out, it usually hurts you more than it can help you. Not to say that, of course, there's certain situations where it definitely works out.
I mean, I get it, but at the same time, if you're not good at drafting certain positions and you have a desperate need for it, then maybe do something. Okay. Let's see. Next comment is, these dudes are funny. Guy at the bottom is a real Philly type guy, negative AF, but truthful. And guy at top is an optimistic person. So I guess.
But he didn't call me truthful, so I'm not sure.
Yeah. Thanks. Josh is super optimistic.
Huh.
But also truthful. How's that?
There you go.
Okay, there we go. Bang. Okay. Wow, your one comment hit the nail on the head. It's the organization. Yes! This guy gets it. Kene Rez 6132. Yes, that's what I was complaining about, the organization. They let their previous success rip them apart, losing good players and staff. Yes. I'm a 56-year-old diehard Eagles fan. Oh, okay. And I watched the same thing happen to our team when we won that track meet Super Bowl against the Patriots in 2017, and then again in 2022 when we lost to KC in the Super Bowl. The Eagles are so blessed to have Howie Roseman. Oh, there's more. Won the all-time GM, and many teams suffer from lousy GM. Look at the Cowboys. Young Buck in your chat is trying to stay positive, but not facing reality. Wow. This is the other person. This person's clearly on my side,
right? Which is fine, because for me, I think it's good to have opinions across the board. However, I know appearances can be deceiving, and I'm sure I look, or yeah, I look much younger than what I really am. So what I'm getting with that is I lived through the 1990s Bengals. Okay. So I totally understand where the frustration can come in. But at the same time, I also understand that the NFL has always been a week to week league. And depending on how you played last is usually how you feel about the team. So it's just hard for me to throw everything away in week 8 when you're only, 3-5 and we're only one game out of the wild card. So like, yeah, I get it. And to be fair, like I wasn't necessarily happy or anything, but I just know the season's not over with. It was a bad week. You can certainly recover. There's plenty of time to turn things around.
Yeah.
We're not out of it. I'm just, if anything, I feel like I've matured over the years and I just don't take football as serious as I used to, just because it just doesn't make sense, because I have no control over the Bengals and how they perform. Outside of that little small percentage, when you do show up for a game and you do contribute to the noise and maybe you can affect those handful of plays, whatever. But outside of that, as fans, we absolutely have no control if the team wins or loses. So it's like some people put that pressure on themselves or that whatever. And it's just like, for me, like I just been phasing out of it. I used to be like that 100% back in the past, but it's just, I'm at the point where I want to enjoy it, Yeah,
I want to enjoy it too, but it's just like,
Yeah, it's frustrating.
It's like, like the history of the Bengals has always been like they just want to be good enough to sell tickets, like they run it like, they don't.
See, I disagree. It's like, yeah, it's a business. I get that. But at the same time, I feel like football is ultra competitive, and I think people are truly in it to win it. And
right, the players and the coaches are, but at the same time,
I just think if you're if you were in their shoes, right, would you care if they won or lost?
Absolutely, I already care.
So I don't think it'd be any different for anyone else. I think that's just a natural inclination. Like if your name is on something, right, and it's your reputation, I think you're going to want to win. And now, obviously, there's things that happen that make it seem like that's not the case, based off of like how they play or the people they can't keep or whatever, Yeah, but in general, I think they really do want to win. They just
inflicted wounds this season. Like it's sort of like it was like it didn't feel like the first game or two they really thought it was like real life. They thought like, whatever, we'll figure it out. So, but yeah, you know what? The thing about you being
look at this.
though, is
we got our first live comment. What's up, Chaos Plays?
Great.
We got
Steelers fans piling on. Thanks.
Hey, I will say this. I am no fan of this. Well, I can't say that. There is a little bit of appreciation with the Steelers, but I will say this. The Steelers have surprised me this year so far. And, they're number one in the North. So, I mean, right now, I can't say anything to that comment other than thank you for it. I appreciate you interacting with us.
I think you need to change the color scheme of your avatar though, because a real Steelers fan would not have white and black. That's you need some yellow in there, right? Maybe add a towel.
Hey, what's up, Dustin? Flew back from Salt Lake City to Cincy for the Eagles game. Deflated.
Yeah.
Hey, man.
Hey, stick around. Josh is exuding positivity. He's gonna keep us all from, switching to HGTV on Sundays or something.
Dustin, did you get to do any of the tailgating? But yeah, that's rough. Trust us, we've been there. My brother has flew into Dallas to witness some tough losses, or I guess a loss. I've been to Cincinnati. I've been to all the playoff games actually. With Carson Palmer and Dalton, so I witnessed all those losses. So yeah, it sucks.
Yeah. All right.
Chaos says Raiders are bad. Y'all got this. Support you. Oh well, I appreciate that. I mean, technically you shouldn't be rooting for us. I understand, but I appreciate the support.
I mean, what does it matter? He doesn't care.
Nah, I mean, I appreciate it. That's the way it should be. I mean, it should be like lighthearted fun, like I don't
Right.
mind like the ribbing or whatever, but it shouldn't be taken too seriously. The fan
Right.
outcry has been the all-time high though. Front office taking arrows. Bengals gym. Yeah, we went to. I feel like anytime we both travel out of the city, I guess specifically Las Vegas, we try to check out Bengals gym. He's all
Yeah.
over the place with that. That's awesome.
Let's see. Here's Broken Arrow Outdoors 2467. Okay. Unless they get a good pass rusher before the trade deadline, the season's over. I agree. Front office needs to show the players they will do what it takes to win. Agree. No matter no matter if it works or not, it'll put some life back into the locker room. I think so.
Okay, wait. So two things on that.
Okay.
A, if we are going to trade for a player, I think defensive end makes the most sense, right? However, the biggest thing I had against Crosby, and don't get me wrong, I would love a player like Crosby on the Bengals, especially paired with Hendrickson.
Yeah,
what kind of
the
message-
Bengals are cheap. They could save on the flight. Just trade for them after the game. Actually,
You mean before
no,
the game? What are
the
you talking
baller
about?
move is to trade for them before the game and then just
Right.
have them sit out and be like, where's that pass rush now?
But my point with that is if, say, if you bring in a guy like him, then what message do you send to Hendrickson when you weren't really willing to renegotiate his contract again when he was asking for that extension? Like, don't you feel like that kind of sends the wrong message that way?
What? Say that again.
Hendrickson, he wants to get paid, right?
Okay.
That was the dispute earlier in the year.
How much does Max Crosby make?
I mean, we could pull it up. If I had to guess, I think it's in like the 25, 28 million.
Okay, we'll
feel like
sign
it's a
Max
lot.
Crosby, and then call in.
Right, but Hendrickson only makes like
don't.
six.
Call in Trey Hendrickson and just give him another $8 million. Match the salary. Bang. Problem solved.
Yeah, but then if we do that, then we definitely can't keep some other pieces. But I think going into next year, we're definitely going to trim the fat. Like
T Higgins. Do you think T Higgins will resign?
that one's gonna be interesting. I think in what I was saying last year with T Higgins is that you have to sign not the full tender, but the franchise tag where another team can match.
Yeah.
And if they
But
match,
this is off-season stuff. Let's see. Okay, last comment. Bro couldn't be more negative. LOL. From your tone, you'd think you all were 0-8. Keep your head up. Lots of games left. Go Birds.
hey, he gets it. Oh, here we go. This is a good question.
0-10.
Chaos Play says, "What do you think about the Commanders?" I think the Commanders are legit and actually a good team. But what do you think?
I don't think the Commanders are that good. No, I think the Bengals should beat them.
Well, we were in position or had a chance to win, but we haven't played a complete game so far this year where the offense and defense are complementary to each other. It seems like one, it's either the offense or the defense that's kind of like carrying the game. It's not, they're not playing off each other like good teams should be doing. Hendrickson getting bullied by Fred Johnson was disgusting. To be honest, fellas, I might be done with this collective of players besides Burrow and Chase. Yeah, I think that's kind of what I was thinking of. I guess throughout the week is that going into next year, they definitely got to get younger on defense. Like, I just can't see where we keep Hubbard or like, and I can even see where they cut that defensive tackle that we signed this year. For some reason, I can't think of his name because he's not like playing the way that
Rankins?
we're paying him. Yeah, Rankins. I mean, he's had some moments when he's gotten a little bit more healthy, but I mean, he's not.
I mean,
really
the problem with defensive linemen is they're not abundant. Like you kind of have to plan ahead.
All right, Callis says, I think the Commanders are horrible. There you go. The only good team was the Bengals that they played like they're playing the Panthers and stuff. I mean, you could kind of say the same thing about the Bengals. But no, I get that. But at the same time,
The Bengals are somewhere in between a good team and a bad team. Like they can beat bad teams, but they can't beat good teams. They can hang for a little bit. I don't know. To me, the Commanders are like, I mean, their offense is let me rephrase that. I think Jaden Daniels can play, and when you have the quarterback position figured out, it can mask a lot of problems with the team. I mean, I think their defensive line was pretty good, but their defense didn't really do much. It wasn't as impactful against the Bengals as I thought they'd be. And I feel like they've just gotten lucky with a couple wins. Like they hit that Hail Mary against the Bengals. That play against the Bears was kind of ridiculous.
Bengals have the best offense in the league. Their defense just needs to be upgraded. I think it's a little bit of a mixture of both. I think the problem with the offense is that they either get too cute or they have these like weird sequences where they have no rhythm. And it seems like the majority of the year when the offense is on, like they're on and they score quickly, but they don't really have like those long drives where you're really controlling the defense or whatever, or keeping them on their heels. It's just, it almost feels like when they score too quickly. But yeah, I think kind of what we were talking about as far as the defense, if they could get a little bit more of a pass rush throughout their defensive line and not rely on Hendrickson so much. So like I said, like trading for a defensive end makes sense, but I don't know if you go for a big player like Crosby, because I feel like that kind of sends the wrong message.
Like that you're trying to win?
Well, no, because shouldn't Hendrickson get paid before you bring in another player and guarantee his salary? I guess that's what I'm kind of getting at. It's like
you got to win. I mean, it's like worrying about people's feelings is a little late, you know?
Paul Dehner had a very sobering assessment of the Bengals on ESPN 1530 this week. He is more concerned about the long term than the short. Like the defense is a mess with aging guys. Yeah. That I think that's what's going to happen over the offseason is that they're going to really focus on getting younger, like across the board on the defense. Because like, you know, Hubbard, Rankins, it could be, and then even obviously I don't think they're going to bring back Bell. I think they're going to try to. I don't know. I don't know what they're going to do for safety. That's another position I find interesting because I heard Buda Baker is on the chop, or I guess on the trading block, and I'm thinking like, like wouldn't that make sense too, to bring in someone like him?
Yeah, I mean they should be trying to replace people who aren't playing well, right? To get better. So I mean, I can't remember the name of the Jets. Don't they have a guy just sitting out that plays defensive end? He's looking to get traded and sign a longer deal. I mean,
wait, you're talking about T. Higgins?
Stuff. No, the Jets.
Oh, sorry.
I'll Google it.
Sorry, I'm just trying to keep up the messages. Dustin says, and I'm generally very positive. No, I get it. I mean, I don't think you should just be positive or to be positive. You know what I mean? It's okay to criticize. I think sometimes too, it's just depending on the situation, I try to be positive. So that way, like, I don't know. Like a game manager, I mean, you mean that's on Joe Burrow? I mean, part of it is on Joe Burrow, but I mean, at the same time, he's not really responsible for calling the plays or, I guess, creating the scheme throughout the week or whatever they're getting ready to implement against the other team. I just think, or at least I think we kind of agree on this. I think there's times where they just kind of get a little bit too cute with it, or maybe they overthink it. Or sometimes it's like the opposite. Sometimes they aren't creative enough. I don't know. It's just, I feel like the play calling could be better. And I feel like that's kind of been a consistent
theme.
I
mean, I think that maybe, I don't have anything. I was just going to say, I think that maybe Joe Burrow kind of tries to push the ball down the field a little too often. I mean, I think that interception that he threw to Chase, when it's like, well, Chase is not, if there's single coverage on Chase, Burrow always throws it to him. But the interception was by like the second guy. So I was like, isn't he double covered? Isn't like their safety help? So
yeah, I think at that point,
I think that was a bad decision.
It was because I even at the time,
at that point, the game wasn't over. But
no,
I just think like the Zach Taylor Joe Burrow combination wants to hit the long ball, And if a defense can keep the big play from happening and make them run long drives, I just think like the Joe Burrow, Zach Taylor combination gets impatient. They want to score right away, and they're making mistakes, whether it be bad play calling or trying to throw for 15 yards when like the 6-yard play's open, or trying to throw a touchdown when there's a guy wide open and you can move the ball. I mean, you got to do a mix, but I think like their mix is way off. Like everything, they're trying to overcompensate for the losses at the beginning of the season. You know what I mean? It's like when someone in baseball starts striking out because like they're trying to always hit a home run. I just feel like the Bengals are trying to like win a game to make up for the losses earlier in the season. They just need to like just keep playing.
Mm-hmm. Plus the secondary is a mess. CTV and Hill are average at best. It is gross. Like literally every position can be replaced on defense.
Yeah, or
I guess besides
where was this on Sunday? Everybody's saying I'm being negative. I mean, we're just being realists.
I thought it was 50-50. I think people are kind of split. I mean,
yeah, no, I get it. It's yeah, I mean, but the thing is, if the defense is bad, there's lots of things you can do to make it better. To me, this team's future is on offense. I mean, the thing that is upsetting is that their plan is stupid, right? It's like you have T. Higgins, you have Jamar Chase. Just re-sign them. Figure the rest out later. Like, I just don't want to hear, well, you got to have money for guys who aren't very good. It's like, they're not very good. Those are the guys you can replace. Like the Bengals in their head, they're like, oh, T. Higgins is worth a max contract. I know what we'll do. We'll draft a guy in the 2nd or 3rd round to replace him. And it's just like, that's a bad plan. That's hard to do. Now, like, you know, Sheldon Rankins, the money you're spending on him, his production, that's the kind of production you can replace in the 2nd or 3rd round if you draft well. It's like they're just so mixed up in the head. It's just like, you know, it's almost like what happened to the Bulls in the 90s where like the GM was convinced that he would just draft another Michael Jordan. And it's just like, sometimes you just get lucky and you get guys that are better than they should have been based on your draft position. And you're supposed to take that found money and do something with it. But like the Bengals are like, oh, we're good at this. We could keep doing it over again. Well, I think T. Higgins would play more games if he was under a long-term contract. I mean, this is the situation that the Bengals find themselves in because of the way the salary cap works. Like, you tag someone, you know, if they've got any kind of bumps and bruises, they're not going to play.
Or I guess the ironic part about it is, are we sure he's going to play? Like, I'm assuming he's legitimately hurt, right? So if you sign someone
doubtful for this week,
right? He's got a quad injury, right? But no, say the Bengals sign him to a long-term deal, right? And they have all this money invested in him. They're not going to play him. It's like the same thing. It's like when the team pays the player, then they become a little bit more reserved because they have money invested. So like, you know, if he's really hurt, which I believe he is, I mean, he's not going to play regardless. Like, I don't think it makes a difference either way. Whether he's...
I think it does. But, you know, you want to talk about this game coming up?
Let's do it. Okay. So, I want to say, weren't the Bengals like an 8.5 point favorite?
Let's see here. I clipped it. The Bengals are now a 7-point favorite on DraftKings.
Oh, what happened? Oh, I guess Orlando Brown confirmed out.
Yeah, maybe.
Oh well, well, pretty much Brown, Higgins, and then Moss doubtful. So I'm sure that has something to do with it.
Yeah.
T is hurting himself if he's indeed sitting out. Bro, there is a 17-year-old wide receiver at Alabama tearing up college football. Yeah, I mean, yeah, we were talking about that the other day. It's like, it feels like with receivers, like there's always going to be good receivers coming out of the draft every year. Like at least a handful of them that could make a difference, like a real difference. I I feel like that's been the most consistent position out of college in terms of like top end talent, receiver wise. Because it feels like they just keep coming out every year. There's always like 3 or 5 where you can be like, yep, they're going to be a day 1 starter or whatever. But as far as the Raiders, I mean, yeah, I don't think they're the greatest team. Obviously, the biggest concern I would assume would be Crosby and him being disruptive. So I would expect him being double teamed a lot.
Yeah.
I wonder how the dynamics are going to change since Moss is out. Because I would imagine Moss would have been used to kind of chip or be that extra protection in the backfield. Because I think out of the running backs, he's our best pass blocker or protector. But on the flip side, I guess with Moss being hurt, that gives more touches to Chase Brown. So I think in a way that makes us more explosive. But
yeah, I mean, the player I'm worried about the most is Brock Bowers. The
tight
Bengals
end.
The Bengals seem to be able to make tight ends perform well. Remember, like,
I
who
feel like
was
that
the
was a
tight
last
end from
year
the Raven? I was at the Ravens game. Some guy I never heard of was just streaking down the field wide open.
Oh, their third tight end. I can't even think of his name either.
Yeah, I don't know his name, but he scored a touchdown. What's Brock Bowers going to do?
Yeah, but I think with Brock Bowers, or at least from what I've seen, and to be fair, I haven't seen all of his film, but like with him, it's like death by 1,000 paper cuts. Like it doesn't seem like he's making.
Okay, I like this.
Well, because he's getting like 6 yards here, 8 yards there. You know, like he's not getting like 40-yard plays. It's just like he gets a lot of catches. He's dependable, but he's not gonna like blow up in the game.
Okay.
Or at least I don't know.
I wonder if they have any
else?
prop bets on Brock Bowers.
Every Raiders game you watch this year, they are presenting fits. You're scared, fellas. Hold me. I don't
so
know.
the over under on yardage for Brock Bowers is 63.
Under
PFF
63?
is saying take the under. Oh, we got a return of some Bearcats coming to town. We got Trey Tucker. And I think did Ritter get traded to the Raiders? Is he a Raider now?
No. He didn't get traded. He got signed off a practice squad from a different team. But yeah, no, he's on the active.
He's on the Raiders
roster.
now. Yeah. Okay. Cool. I mean, I don't think. I mean, he's not scheduled to play, but it's still cool. Okay. So you want to look at the matchups?
Yeah.
All right. So, that's a problem.
Yeah, I would imagine Crosby's going to be over Ford most of the game.
Yeah.
I guess maybe Mims. I mean, I could see where Mims would have some issues with Crosby's. I mean, obviously Mims is rookie and
he
Crosby
seemed
is
to struggle
all-pro.
against like speed rush.
Yeah, he's just like he's very quick too. So
yeah,
but I mean, yeah, because Mims is not someone that you're going to bull rush. Like that's just not going to happen. Where you're going to beat Mims is being quick and being more side to side rather than just blunt force.
So has Burton been announced as the starter?
I think so. I think that's
Okay.
pretty much the consensus because T is pretty much not going to play.
Right. T is out, and then our guy's also hurt. The kick returner, right? Isn't he out as well?
Charlie Jones? No, he's questionable, but they
He's
think he's going to play.
questionable?
Yeah.
Okay, it's Charlie Jones, and maybe we'll get some more Mr. 7 yards, Trenton Irwin.
Oh, here you go. Joe Alt did shut down Crosby. I could see that. I feel like Alt was probably a little bit more. I don't know, because I feel like when we watched the film, it felt like Mims was more fluid. But based off of his performance in the NFL so far, the one thing he has struggled was those inside moves.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, he seemed pretty natural on his feet when we watched the film for Mims. But yeah, and Alt is a stud for sure. I feel like a lot of offensive linemen that came out of this draft is going to be good for a long time. And hopefully the Bengals got one of them. Yeah. Finally.
So let's look at the defense versus offense.
Oh yeah, that's right. How many people want it? Michael Mayer?
Oh yeah, that was me.
He might be a Bengal. That's the funny part. Like that's going to be.
I mean, it's not so much that I liked him. I wasn't super high on him. I just was like, well, of course the Bengals are going to pick him. They love picking local guys. I mean, that's kind of why we thought Eric Hall was going to get drafted by the Bengals. They love drafting dudes from Cincinnati. But yeah, I mean, Mayer has. I mean, it's weird because they even drafted Bowers over the top of him.
I feel like with Aldo, I think we just liked him because he played for Iowa and, well, I guess Michigan too. But
yeah, but I mean, I thought the Bengals would draft him. I thought for sure the Bengals would draft Mayer, but I wasn't super impressed with him. But like, I thought that he would be a good NFL guy, I mean, similar to the reason why I like Eric Hall. I just felt like he could do multiple things, and I feel like that's the best kind of tight end is a guy that can block and catch, who isn't necessarily like, just like a big receiver, but someone who confuses the other team. But it's like, it just feels like the Bengals always like, when they're going to run. It's like every team in the NFL can see that the Bengals are going to try to run the ball, and that's why they tend to struggle. Because they kind of telegraph what they're doing because they put in the block, they put in the blocking team when they want to run it, which I think is possibly the worst feature of the Zach Taylor offense is the fact that they don't run out of normal sets.
The mountains are blue. What does that mean?
You're drinking Coors Light, man. It's time it's ready to go. It's cold enough.
Oh, sorry. I feel like I'm not cultured.
Yeah, you need to read more.
But anyways, just looking at the PFF grades and take it with a grain of salt or whatever. But this could be the coming out game for Rankins, just based off of the grading, because that seems to be the biggest flaw right there is their interior. But their tackles, well. Their left tackle looks decent, and the right guard looks pretty good. But that left guard and center looks like they could probably take advantage of that one way or another. Or even Jenkins may do well.
Yeah. Well, Geno Stone's climbing up the rankings. He's no longer the lowest rated safety. He's now, got 5 or 6 guys below him now.
Even Turner's got a decent score, 67. Because I feel like if you're in your 70s, that's like pretty good PFF wise. And then I guess 80s is like more on the elite side.
Yeah.
But no, I've always been a pretty big fan of Turner. Even Cam Taylor-Britt. I don't know what's going on with him this year, but it's definitely.
I feel like he got like a little bit of extra hubris, like talking before games, and like I remember like he was making fun of the Redskins offense, like, oh, they run like a college offense. It's just like, I mean, it may have been a college offense, but they scored a lot of points, so and I just feel like he's not really like that level of a player.
Can you go back to can you flip that where the Bengals are off on offense and they're on defense?
Sure.
It's weird because I feel like their defense is almost like the same grade as ours.
Yeah.
But then our offense looks worse than or offensive line looks worse than their offensive line grade wise.
Yeah, absolutely.
I guess part of it, what really hurts is not having Orlando Brown Jr. because I feel like he was having a pretty solid year so far.
Yeah, I mean, he's always been considered the Bengals' best offensive lineman.
Yeah, but I feel like this year's different. Like, I feel like the last year, he was having plays here and there, but I feel like you haven't really heard anything with like I just feel like he's been playing on another level this year.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, that's crazy. Because again, I feel like Mims. For me, it feels like he's playing better than what his grade shows. But yeah, that's. I mean,
I don't know. Let's see if we can look him up. Let's see. I'll leave this here, and then I will do. Is it player grades?
Charlie Goldsmith, who you like the most out of the Cincy guys, very smart, was saying that he thinks Lou is rotating too many guys and trying almost too hard. Broken coverages, missed assignments. I could see that, where you're just like or I guess outthinking yourself.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, like people need consistent reps, and unless you have like a lot of veterans with all like that already have that experience, it is hard to rotate a lot of those people in. So I mean that makes sense. Like especially with younger guys, like if you have younger people that have potential and talent or whatever, like you got to get them plays. Like that's the only way they're gonna get better. They just gotta keep playing and just continue to learn from their mistakes. But I could see where maybe having too much of a rotation can actually be a hindrance. I mean, I get in theory why that would be good, because in theory they'd be a little bit more fresh. And, the more fresh you are, the faster you're going to compete or whatever. But
yeah, it seems like with Mims, his last week was a bad week for him. I think his worst week of the season, according to PFF.
Which is weird. His best week was the Giants, and to me, they had the best defensive line.
Yeah. But, I mean, again, you always can hold out hope for someone who has. I mean, he looks like he could get. What am I trying to say? He looks talented, and he looks like an NFL right tackle, and because of his age, he has the potential to get better, right, throughout the season. Like, he's still an unknown quantity, whereas, the rest of the team are probably who they are, right? Like, you probably don't expect Kappa, Karras, and Volson to get much better. Mm-hmm. That's just who they are, right?
Yeah, no, I can see that. I think, especially going into next year, if he works on some of his weaknesses, I think he can definitely, like, you'll see a big step from this year to next year, even though I don't think he's like doing necessarily that bad. But I mean, I think he's got potential to be like an elite right tackle if he puts it all together. Because like straight up, like I said, like you're not going to run through him. Like I've seen pretty much all different types of defensive ends just try to bull rush him, and they do absolutely nothing. The only time that he's gotten beat is, to me, it seems like it's always in the inside, where he just doesn't get his step out quick enough, and they just able to cut in front of him. What are you looking at now?
I'm just looking at the past few games for the Raiders. I'm trying to figure out what my prediction's going to be in terms of the game. Okay. All right. I got a plan. So I don't think the Bengals are going to win by 7. I wanted to say it's like a shootout. Okay, being the game, ton of clean pockets, just can't run block.
Yeah, running was pretty pathetic last game.
So,
but I think maybe if you just give more consistent carries to Chase Brown, that could be the key. Because like with him, it only takes one run to really blow.
I think that if you can't run, then they need to start doing some like screen plays and some like design passes to the running back, right? Try to get them, since you can't just hand it to them. Maybe just try to hit some short passes to.
I'm telling you, Chase Brown and Jamar Chase both in the backfield. Do it. They did
Okay.
it with Moss and Jamar Chase. Now they just got to do it with Jamar Chase and Chase Brown. I feel like there's like so much you could do with it.
Oh wow! See, look, Josh, you're being positive. Dustin's turned around. He was like on the verge of giving up on the season, and now he's like, I think we got this. So, and maybe rub it off on me because I think the Bengals are going to win. I don't think they cover. I want to say it's a shootout. I don't. There's no reason why it should be a shootout based on the stuff I've seen, but I'm still going to say it's going to be. Hey, we're even going to get McPherson field goal. We're going to win 31.
We had one last week.
27, because the Raiders are going to miss a extra point. That's what I'm seeing. That's what I'm seeing in the crystal ball. If you got a prediction, Dustin, hit us up too. What you got, Josh?
I'm going to say it's 25-16 Bengals.
25.
I need to get back on that scoregami, so I'm going to go 25-16.
Oh, yeah.
Because I feel like 25 is a pretty odd number for football, but that's what I'm going with because that's what I feel.
Okay. All right. I guess we got. Oh, there we go. So you said we're going to get the win.
Okay. He says we're going to get the win this week and then the win next week.
All right.
Because
we just
in
won
a
one
weird
prediction,
scenario,
too.
you know, if the Broncos are kind of on a roll, maybe. I don't know. I haven't really been paying attention to them that much.
I
But
wonder who their coach is.
Sean Payton, right?
Yeah.
But they
Funny
seem
how
to
that
be playing
works.
pretty decent right now. And if they can beat the Ravens, and if the Bengals can take care of business against the Raiders, it makes the next week game against the Ravens on Thursday very interesting. Very, very, very interesting.
Especially if we take Max Crosby to Baltimore with us.
That would be incredible, but it's not going to happen.
Okay, 31-20, Bengals. Got it.
I would love to see that.
All right. Yeah, I'd take that too.
Alrighty. Well, I guess we'll be back Sunday after the game,
Wait,
unless something
early?
comes up.
No.
Are you saying goodbye now?
I'll say goodbye.
All right. Hold on. I got to get to the right thing. All right.
Okay.
All right. Now we're out. All right.
Okay, peace.